Hello and welcome to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate podcast. Jim Riley here with my co-host Rod Kuntz. Hello,
Hello,
sir.
Jim Riley. Good to see you this morning.
Dude, we survived Christmas.
Isn't it funny that that's how we look at it? That we survived one of the greatest, grandest holidays and joyous seasons of the year. And when it's over, we say, we survived. My wife and I had the same conversation, Jim. So there was a lot going on during the Christmas season. There's no question.
I think it's everything that gets piled on that puts you in survival mode. It's like, wait, where do we got to go now? Whose party or what service at church or what?
Yeah, and all the the dance recitals and plays and performances and chorus and choir, and I mean there's just all kinds of stuff, and it gets more complicated as your family grows.
I'll tell you what. So I think I talked about this. We started Christmas November 1st. I thought it'd be a fun joke, to play on the family, and my daughter was all in. I'll never do that again. It's too much Christmas. Matter of fact, well, this show's being recorded on the 28th of December. We're cleaning all Christmas stuff up today. There will be no more Christmas in my house on the 29th.
Well, I will share this with you. Everyone has their own traditions. A tradition that my wife and I have had for 34 years now, I believe. We take everything down the day after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So December 26th, it all comes down.
Nice.
Everything. And that's, okay. There was a reason for it. One of my children was out of the country and was supposed to be brought back to me before Christmas, and a big legal battle, and didn't have him back. So when you've got one of your kids gone for Christmas, it just wasn't Christmas. So we did it, and afterwards it was sadness. All that stuff was sadness. So every year it's just okay. It's done. It's over. It's behind us. So whatever your traditions are, there's usually something in there, healing that happens.
Yeah. So, and I'll just say this and we'll move on to the topic, but, I said survive, we say survive, people say that, but, really make it a point to enjoy the seasons and the holidays and create great memories around those holidays with your family and friends. I mean, these things will stick with you for life. And it really doesn't matter about the presents. It matters about, the meals that you share and the time, the stories that you tell, the games that you play, and all those other things. And I feel like as a family, we did a great job with that this year. And I'm grateful to be in the tail end of the season, but just grateful for the memories we have. So
absolutely.
I'll leave it at that, I guess.
Memories are the dessert of life. That's how I look at it. Yeah. They're the dessert.
I like that.
All those good things.
Well, look, it's a new year when this thing airs. And my wife and I had a really good discussion last night. It was brief, but the point was made. And it's what our topic's going to be today, because I think it's important. And literally, I just had a coaching client an hour ago before we got on this recording. And what that is, oftentimes people believe that being an entrepreneur comes with a big bank account. That the expectation is, oh, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you must be wealthy. And I think that comes from, what people post up on social media and, what they like to portray in society as entrepreneurs. And the reality is that entrepreneurs, they're not always necessarily wealthy or maybe even making it. Maybe they have a corporate job or a side job to make ends meet. But entrepreneurs, at least in my definition, is being able to do what you want when you want. And the discussion I had with my wife last night, just being transparent here, is, people might look at my life from afar and go, oh, well, you've got, all this property and you got these horses and this house and these kids and stuff like that. Well, really, I don't have a lot. I mean, what I have is, moderate at best. I don't live a lavish lifestyle. Matter of fact, we downgraded when I moved to Montana from California. As an entrepreneur, I don't have a pile of money sitting in the bank. I don't have the millions that you may perceive me to have because of things that I've done in my career. And I think it's important to say this, Rod, because what an entrepreneur has that others don't is the freedom to choose how you spend your time and what you do. And so if you want to compare my riches or my wealth to what you're doing, well, compare how I choose to spend my time. And that's in my faith and with my kids. And so I'm probably, the richest man in the world that I know because I get to spend all the time I want with my family and doing the things that I feel are important based on my own values. I couldn't be worth any more, to be honest with you. But that has zero to do with my bank account. And I want people to learn or hear this lesson, and that is chase the things that are important to you, not what you perceive them to be through social media and what others have. And know that being an entrepreneur means freedom versus a pile of cash. I hope I'm conveying that correctly. Are you catching what I'm saying here, Rod? I see you
I
shaking your
am.
head, but
I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I'm agreeing with you 100%. And what I'll say, Jim, is entrepreneurship is not about dollars. It's about mindset.
yeah.
And if too many people are a slave in their own mind, and you talked about freedom, what entrepreneurship is to you is freedom. And I agree 100%. And there are too many people who are not mentally free.
Mm-hmm.
They are the discussions I hear around me from other people are about credit and credit limits, and they went out to get a new car, and now their credit took a ding, and they're worried about all these things, and that's just stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it their mind is occupied. It's so occupied with things of monetary value instead of things of life value, family value, spiritual value, uh, physical. What do you do with your spare time? We don't work all the time. Thank God we don't work all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get to spend that time with our kids and outdoors and even just reading books. There are people who may be slaving away at a 9 to 5 they absolutely hate, and I might be spending it, in my armchair reading a good book, and expanding my mind. Freedom is everything, but we can't get our minds locked in slave mentality. And people are going to be locked in Egypt for a long, long time. The promised
Mm-hmm.
land is right here. You know, we can step over into the promised land anytime we want, but it's a mental step. That's the first step, is the mental step.
And I
And
think people really struggle with that though. And
they
and
do.
that's really why I wanted to talk about this today because as people are setting their paths for 2024 and your goals and whatever that looks like to you right now as you're listening to this, I really want you to take a hard look at what's important. What does that freedom look like to you? Because I think a lot of people can't define what the top looks like or what enough looks like. I saw an entrepreneur on Instagram the other day posted this story up about, he made his first millions or whatever it was. He bought a Lamborghini and he realized 6 months later it did nothing for him. So he sold that and went and bought a used Honda Civic. And now he's, that's the life he lives. That's an extravagant example of what I'm saying. But, chasing a big dollar amount is not happiness. And being an entrepreneur is about creating an environment around your values, your own personal goals, and what makes you happy. And it doesn't have to be a pile of money at the end of your entrepreneurship to make you happy. I just posted this one, I don't know if you saw it, but my daughter gave me a Christmas present this year. She does every year. Usually, my wife goes out and buys it with them and, helps them wrap it. But my daughter she learned how to crochet because that's the kind of stuff you do in homeschool. She learned a skill. She crocheted me a band for my cowboy hat, which was very unique. It fits perfectly, you know, um, and a $10 bill. And that she put that in a bag and she's like, she was very proud to give it to me. And I think it's awesome. Not only did she take the time to make something, but also that she got into her money, which she has plenty of. She's earned it, by the way,
Mhm.
and gave me a gift of money. But the most important thing was the note she wrote me about her love and rejoicing in Christ. And when I look at that, it just fills my soul that we're teaching our kids those types of values, giving and recognizing and having a faith, but also, being an entrepreneur, the opportunity to do all the things that are so important to me, and that is to be with a kid and teach my kids those types of things, and then seeing the result of that. So
It's
again,
priceless.
there's no pile of money that I would exchange for that moment, right? And that moment is an evolution of moments that we spent together as father and daughter, and how we raise our kids. So stop chasing what you think entrepreneurship is all about and really take a hard look at what it means for you.
I'm trying to think that the actual definition of entrepreneurship. It's the French word. We know that, right? It's somebody who risks something up front for a payoff later.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with money, although it did. It was a business term, but it's the payoff later. What's the payoff? What is it that what's the most valuable thing that you can buy with money? And it's not Lamborghinis, and it's
Yeah.
not real estate. It's time, right?
Yeah.
Money can buy you time. It's that freedom. And we only have X amount of that, and we don't know when that X is. Solve for X. That's why we eat healthy. That's why we exercise every day. That's why we don't do bad things with our bodies. We don't take risks. It's because we shorten the X factor. We don't know when that is. So that's why we wear seatbelts and we wear helmets. And, it's how can we get more time? How can we guarantee ourselves? Well, there's no guarantee, but how can we get as much as we want? And being smart with your money is number one. Just being smart with your money and your investments and your investments in time and your investments in family, that's going to gain you so much more before you're done. And there was one other thought I had. I did see your post with your daughter's headband and the $10 bill and the note. I loved it. Made me smile. Actually,
Yeah.
made me smile when I read it. And I was thinking I think it's been 3 years ago now, and I may even have mentioned this before. We did with our family, we do gift exchange because we're pretty big, right? Large family. So we do a gift exchange, except for the grandkids, they all get stuff. But for the adults, we did secondhand Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't go out and buy something, unless it was used, right? And it puts a whole different spin on the whole materialistic aspect of Christmas because you have to think harder. You really have to put your mind into it. It's not just going to Amazon and clicking, and this will work. Or the easiest thing today is just gift cards, right?
Yeah.
There's no thought in a gift card.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody likes them because you can do what you want with them, but that's an easy way out. That's escaping the whole
Sure.
purpose.
Yeah.
We got to put our heart into whatever it is we do, whether it's Christmas, getting gifts, whether it's our work and how we're going to get ahead or how we're going to get by. And entrepreneurs are always looking not just to get by, they're looking to get ahead. So I'll take it to that, getting ahead of the time curve, getting ahead of your competition, getting ahead of next quarter's, numbers, whatever it happens to be. We're always looking forward instead of right where we're at and being positive.
And by the way, I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying here about being an entrepreneur. It's about doing what you want when you want to do it is the ultimate freedom of owning your business. You can still make a pile of money, by the way. And I've done very well as an entrepreneur, but that is a result of chasing your passion, doing what you love, and having the balance of that freedom. When my kids are off doing their thing, I'm doing my thing. And oftentimes that thing results in the success of my businesses. So I'm not saying you won't make a pile of money if that's part of your business plan and you become an entrepreneur and your business takes off. But freedom to do what you want when you want is the true value. And just understand that as well, that sometimes there's an exchange there. So I don't know, I'm very hopeful for 2024. And I think that those people that don't get sucked in to the gas chamber of everything that's happening around them will find equal success. And I think that I know that the podcast we've done in the last several months, Rod, all supports, a healthy, jump or leap into 2024 if people are paying attention, including this message today, because, the world literally is your oyster. Doesn't matter what's going on around you.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great message. And I want people to understand where our values are with the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate and everything that we do. And yes, it is ultimately about money, because we can't help other people if we don't have it. We need a certain amount of money. There has to be something generated so that we can keep moving forward and keep expanding our vision and our mission. So again, there's nothing wrong with money, and it's a necessary tool, but we can't worship it. That can't be it. It can't be the end goal. Money is just a tool. So let's always be adding to our toolbox, adding to the tool chest, and getting better tools, and upgrading when we can, because that makes a difference. And in fact, I was watching a docuseries, and I'll tie this in real briefly, on Willie Nelson, and he had a $60,000 advance to make an album, right? To go do recording and stuff like that. And what he did with that $60,000, he took $2,000 and made the actual recording, and he took the rest, $58,000, and bought a new equipment for all of his band members.
Mm.
That was his investment. It wasn't bankroll, right?
Yeah.
He did, and that really launched him onto the path of ultimate wealth and success.
Sure.
He invested in equipment for other people. And that's a valuable lesson for any entrepreneur out there.
And imagine what that did for his band members, the confidence that he instilled in them, like, hey, you're the right band for me. I'm investing in you. Not to mention having new equipment is always great.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, it's just doing what you love, doing it passionately, and making sure you're focused on others instead of just yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'll wrap with this. And again, being an entrepreneur doesn't always mean it's a pile of money. And by the way, the reason why I keep hitting home on that is because we're bombarded on social media, and we're kidding ourselves if we say we're not on there, because we all are. We're looking at all these extravagant things. And I know, because I've coached some entrepreneurs, like, I just, how come I'm not doing this or having that or going on this extravagant vacation or flying in my helicopter? It's like, those things oftentimes aren't reality. And what I want your reality to be as an entrepreneur is to have the freedom to do what you want when you want. So anyways, I'll leave my point with that. Rod, any final points on the subject matter or something else?
I'll talk about marketing real quick.
Yeah.
I saw an advertisement on, it must have been a major television station during a news break or something. And it was for a cruise line. And the spokespeople for the cruise line were celebrity athletes. And we were talking, I can't even remember who, because I don't follow, professional basketball and that sort of thing. But I thought, you could go on every cruise there was for the next 5 years, and you would not see a celebrity professional basketball or football player on a cruise, right? And yet that's what they're using to promote. Everybody wants to be like so-and-so, and it's like, that guy would never be caught dead. He's going to take his family on some private beach somewhere that costs less than a cruise and be left alone, right? Mm-hmm. So it's funny. We are bombarded with all of these messages, and most of them are not true.
Yep. There's my point.
They're not. Yeah.
There's my point.
There it is. Anyway, it's always a pleasure, Jim.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you like what you're hearing, share our podcast. We would love to spread the word. And if you're interested in the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate, just hit up youngentrepreneurs.syndicate.com. Love to have you in our community. Our membership is $99 a month, and that equals 4 robust phone calls a month. So 1 a week. We do a Zoom call every Monday night. We do 30 minutes of kind of an education value, things that we're learning or talking about. And then Open discussion. Any problems that you have, you've got 3 industry experts to help walk you through that. And trust me, we have the support that you need. So we'd love to have you. So thanks for tuning in, Rod. Talk to you next week.
All right. Happy New Year.